What's going on, guys? It's your boy Brando back with another video, and today, guys, I got something a little bit different than my normal style of videos. I'm going to show y'all how you can make your own samples for a HOODBYAIR type beat for PLAYBOI CARTI, and how you can layer those sort of effects and make bouncy drums to kind of get that same effect. Let's get into it. So let's start off with the bass melodies that we actually exported and then put a bunch of effects on. So for the first preset in this exported melody, we have the light square lead and soft leads, and just drew in this little slow arp right here. For the second preset that we have here is going to be a little bit of a faster arp. We got the Gangsta Wine lead from Synth Master Player from KV331 Audio, and just drew in this really, like, fast, higher-end arp type sound. For the third and final preset we went into the Bro Beats Expand Bank. Obviously, you guys have seen this one a million times. The Warp Strings, one of my favorite pad presets to use when it comes to filling out any sort of dead space inside of a beat. All I did was take out a little bit of low end, just the sub frequencies for this one, and drew in these little chord progressions here. Now that we've gone over those, let's see what the exported melodies sound like. Okay, as you can see, this is the exported melody here. All this is just a consolidated track of a reversed version of what we made. Now, however, I do not have all the effects that I actually put on here before I'd exported it, because I forgot to do so. My fault, everybody. But I do believe there's a couple of, like, granular synth effects things from Ribs. There's Tall Filter that's already on there as well. There's TDR Nova. I pitched this up, and then I put, like, a bunch of Unison Zen on it. And then all we did right here was we just pitched up by 3 in Auburn Sounds. With all that stuff on it, this is what it would sound like. Really ambient, really aggressive. You can already tell this is going to be like a super bouncy melody. So now that that's out of the way, let's get to the accents that we ended up putting here. The accents, we just went into the Yamaha Grand Piano and Keyzone Classic, turned down the release, the reverb, and then just drew in this little, like, pattern here. Just adds a little bit of bounce. The next preset we went into was actually in Vital. I'm pretty sure this is going to be like a robot preset or something. If you go into pads, it'll be the Corrupted plus Boot preset. All I did was just turn down the release a little bit and kind of made sure that I did everything correctly with a couple of LFO things and drew in this little pad that goes along with it. All I ended up doing was putting on a TDR Nova threshold and taking out a little bit of low end here, just to take the sub-frequencies out so it would only be a texture, and made sure nothing was bleeding too much. For the final accent that plays on the second half of the beat, we have the Stairman lead from the soft leads. You can actually hear this on a couple of my dumb Corleo loops that I've made before. All I did was just put the default preset on Valhalla Supermassive on here to give it a little bit more movement, and then just made this little, like, vocal run type of look here. Just adds a kind of bounce to the beat that you normally wouldn't hear. It gives a little bit more variation. For the drums, we actually only have super simple drums here. Of course, we got the cowbell like you hear in the actual HOODBYAIR song. You got Cash Money snares. You've got a couple of snares in here that just accent everything. Nothing too special, honestly. This is what the full pattern for the drums without 808s is going to sound like. Nothing super special, but let's move on to the 808s. So for the first 808 on this beat, obviously both of these are going to be B-Weezies. All we did was just tune to C and make sure our attack was up to like 0.16 so that we can have no phasing here, or no clicking, and just drew in this kind of bounce right here. For the second 808, all we did was just take the B-Weezy 808 again, tuned it to C, turned off the phasing and clicking, and just drew in this really basic same note pattern that gives that bounce for the verse. With that being said, let's play everything together with their individual pieces. This is going to be what all your drums sound like. And this is what all of your melodies are going to sound like. Now, with that being said, let's get into the layout to show how everything is organized and how you can also make HOODBYAIR type beats pretty simply. So for the layout, it's really nothing special. Obviously, we have the reverse, like, pad stuff going here at the top. We got this little ambience thing that I picked up from, like, a free kit that I got, like, months ago. I'm quite sure this is probably just, I think it's like a rain effect. It just adds a little bit more movement to the beat, and it kind of gives it that more eerie feeling like you hear in Hood by Air. For the verse, all we did was just take this exact same track here, copy and paste it, and turn it down by like 30%, something like that, just to make sure that it wasn't bleeding too much, and it also gave room for the drums to really stand out. And as you can see for the bridge, it comes back here. It's just really basic, straightforward. With the theremin lead, all it does right here with the top line, it just comes in at the second half of this 16-bar verse here for the second part of the beat, and it plays throughout also the third verse here. As you can see, we have a little bridge here connecting everything. It's just a copy-paste, really. It's nothing super special. Our verse has a different 808 right here, as you can see, that changes to that one note. And then our bridge comes back in right here, or our second half of our verse, whatever you want to call it. For the final mix, all we did was put on TDR Nova, took out some low end, middle, and middle high end here, and a little bit of OTT with barely any depth. Just took out some low and mid, and then boosted the highs a little bit, so it would give it more bounce. For the theremin, we also went in and took out a barely any middle highs here, just to make sure it wasn't bleeding too much. And that's the whole beat. That's going to be it for this video today, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel for future videos like this. I'm sorry I haven't been posting as much. Life's been getting in the way. School is a pain in my butt sometimes, but we all get through it. I'm still going to be posting, still going to be giving you guys beat tutorials, breakdowns, samples, everything you need. I'll leave a link to my BeatStars ProdBrando 017 where you can find all sorts of sample flips, Dom Cordelio, Destroying Lonely, Hard Rock, Jace, Until Japan, like all sorts of artists on there, not to mention some Homicide Gang things that you've seen on this channel as well. I'll leave a link to my SoundCloud just so you can get an idea of some of my older beats. I'll also leave a link to my sample website just so you can get a couple of free samples that I've produced as well. And in a couple of weeks, if not this week or somewhere around this week, I'm going to be dropping a 444 loop kit, which is actually going to be a multi-kit combined with a MIDI. It's going to have like 20-something loops in there, and it's also going to have like 25-something MIDIs. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.